Welcome to Learning English with Captain Binoy Varagil, Assistant Professor, Department of English, St. Joseph's College, Devgiri, Calicut, Kerala, India. We discuss the phonemes of received pronunciation, the vowels and the consonants of English. And in the learning of the phonemes, the vowels and the consonants of English, we have to be very sure about the exact characteristics of each and every sound. And we in the previous lecture learned the cardinal vowels and the cardinal vowel chart. In today's lecture we are going to understand more about the cardinal vowel chart, which is of course designed by Daniel Johns. And this particular cardinal vowel chart helps us to understand everything about the description of the vowels of received pronunciation, that is the educated Southern British English. We know that the vowel sounds of English are described on the basis of four important factors. They are, number one, the place of the tongue that is used to articulate an English phoneme, that is of course a vowel sound. And now, number two, the height to which the tongue is lifted. Number three, the lip position, whether the lips are rounded or unrounded. And last, that is of course whether the vowel sound is a long or a short vowel sound. And these are the four important factors. But the most important factor is of course the position of the tongue that is used. And in order to understand the phonemes, especially the vowels of received pronunciation, we have to locate the vowel sounds on the cardinal vowel chart. And we have the cardinal vowel chart here, and with the help of this particular cardinal vowel chart we can understand different articulatory dimensions or different parts of the tongue that is just moving up and down, to and fro in the oral cavity, the mouth cavity. And now let us see. So this is in fact the cardinal vowel chart, which of course is designed by Daniel Johns. And we have to understand this particular corner where we have what the close is written. And this corner, okay, is known as the close position. And that is of course the maximum height to which of course the tongue can go up. And this is of course the bottom position, and the tongue is just lying flat in the oral cavity, and that is of course open position. So let us understand different positions of the cardinal vowel chart. This is position number one, close position. Position number two, open position. Position number three, that is of course the back of the tongue at the extreme lower position in the mouth cavity. Alright, that is number three. And number four is of course close position, again in the back of the oral cavity or mouth cavity. So this particular shape or the frame is just indicating the kind of area inside the mouth cavity. So we have now of course this is the closed position in the front, the open position in the front, open position, that is of course the tongue at the bottom in the back, and of course the closed position, back of the tongue at the maximum height closed position. Now of course this is about the outer 4 points, and now we have to understand that this particular height levels, this is okay at the bottom line, second line, third line, fourth line, and what do they indicate or represent. So we have to understand that certain sounds can be produced by, of course, keeping the tongue at the extreme bottom. We don't lift the tongue at all. The tongue is just lying flat at the bottom. And keeping the tongue at the extreme bottom, we say some sounds, alright? The tongue is not lifted at all. Such sounds are called open sounds, alright? No lifting of the tongue at all. And we say that example is, of course, the sound. We do not have more sounds or many sounds in English which are, of course, produced with the open position. We have the sound just check it for yourself. When we are making the sound in the vowel sound in car, C-A-R, car, what happened is the tongue is just at the extreme bottom. Let us say the sound car, and we can say that sound is an open sound. There is no lifting of the tongue. That is why we say open sound. Open sounds are sounds produced by the tongue just taking a position at the extreme bottom in the mouth cavity. And now we have what is written here. That is, of course, H-O. H-O refers to, of course, half open. Right here again, half open. So this another very important fact we have to remember is, right, so you have written front here, center here, back here. That is, of course, the tongue in the mouth, right, our tongue. So we are using the front of the tongue to use, or rather to make certain sounds. And such sounds which are articulated with the front of the tongue are known as front sounds, right? So this particular area, alright, this particular area from here to, of course, this closed position, from open to all sounds which produce with this area, in fact, are known as front sounds, right? They are known as front sounds, right? So all sounds that come in this area, okay, they are known as front sounds, front sounds. And sometimes we use the back of the tongue to, of course, produce certain sounds, and such sounds are known as the back sounds produced in this area. And certain sounds produced with the center, alright, are known as central sounds. So based on the part of the tongue that is used, we have the front vowels, the back vowels, the central or center vowels. So that is, of course, right. If the front of the tongue is used for the articulation, we have front vowels. If the center of the tongue is used, we have, of course, central sounds. And if the back of the tongue is used, we have, of course, back vowels. And now, okay, let's understand the cardinal vowel chart in detail. So we have open sounds, we have half open sounds, half closed sounds, and closed sounds, right? So the tongue at the extreme bottom, open sounds. Slightly up at this position, half open sounds. Even up at this position, we have half closed sounds. And even maximum height, the vowel limit is maximum, close to the roof of the mouth, such sounds are closed vowels. Alright, and now, of course, sounds produced with the front of the tongue at the open position, we will say it's a front open vowel sound. Now we will say a front half open vowel sound. Then we will say a front half closed vowel sound. Next we will say a front closed vowel sound. Right. Now we have to look at the back part of the tongue. We use the back part of the tongue to make certain vowel sounds, and such sounds are called back vowel sounds. And we have, in fact, 5 back vowel sounds, and we would say a sound produced at extreme bottom, we would say open sounds, right? Open, because the tongue is at the bottom, extreme lower position. Like we have here the sound ah. Alright. So similarly, of course, next session we'll be locating all the 12 pure vowels in the cardinal vowel chart. But now we are just understanding the different positions of the cardinal vowel chart, right? So back of the tongue is used at lower position, open, back open vowel sound. Even high or a little more higher, we have half open back sound, which is produced with the a height at a half open position. Then of course half closed position and closed position. Now certain sounds are produced with the center of the tongue. Such sounds are known as central vowels. There's three of the sounds, right? So now of course the cardinal vowel chart is clear to everybody. We know the position of the tongue inside the oral cavity, and based on the position of the tongue in the oral cavity, we call based on the height, the vowel limit or the height of the lifting of the tongue, we say certain sounds are open sounds, certain sounds are half open sounds, certain sounds are of course half closed sounds, and some other sounds are closed sounds. We have of course another term for the same thing. So we would say that some phoneticians would say that open sounds are also called, some phoneticians call open sounds low sounds, alright? And closed sounds, some phoneticians are using another terminology for closed sounds, and that is of course high sounds. High sounds because the tongue is at maximum height. So these two are of course different terms for the same sounds, in fact in the oral cavity based on the tongue lifting. So open sounds are also known as low sounds, closed sounds are also known as high sounds. Similarly, half open sounds are known as in fact mid open. Half open are known as mid open. Similarly, half closed sounds are known as mid close. Okay, so mid close, these are of course different terminologies to illustrate the vowel position in the mouth cavity, oral cavity based on the lifting of the tongue. So now that we have understood the different positions or different parts of the oral cavity, mouth cavity, of course based on the cardinal vowel chart, we can move forward to of course placing or locating the phonemes of received pronunciation. Alright, so this lecture we end here with this particular location of the different location of the mouth cavity based on the cardinal vowel chart. Next lecture we are going to place the 12 pure vowels of RP in the cardinal vowel chart. So thank you very much for listening. May God bless you all.